Let's take a look at Abraham Lincoln as commander-in-chief, as leader of the Union during the war. Lincoln actually acts like a dictator during the war. Not in a bad sense. What we mean when we say Lincoln acts as a dictator is that he is in total control of his nation. He increases the size of the army and he gives money to military suppliers without congressional approval. Now, this is only possible because he has major, overwhelming support from Congress. Remember, the opposition party, the Democrats, basically left. It's almost all Republicans, and Lincoln is a Republican, so he can pretty much do whatever he wants because Congress has basically told him, go ahead and do whatever you want. We trust you. However, he's not overbearing with his power. He still allows elections to occur. He still allows there to be a vigorous political discourse and discussion over what the government is doing and whether or not it's right. His first action as president is to declare martial law in 1861, and that's what allows the army to arrest people suspected of aiding the enemy. He also suspends the right of habeas corpus. In other words, you can be arrested without being charged with something. And in response to people who might think this is too drastic, Lincoln says that drastic situations require flexible interpretations of presidential power. In other words, in times like this, a civil war, we need to grant more power and authority to the chief executive. Lincoln does use these powers to suppress some Confederate sympathizers in the North, but they're mainly used to go after army deserters, people who volunteered for the army or were drafted into the Union Army and then tried to run away from that responsibility. Lincoln did close down a few newspapers, but mainly he's very tolerant. In fact, he allowed the Peace Democrats, those Northern Democrats who were critical of the war effort, to continue their criticism of Lincoln. Jefferson Davis, on the other hand, really struggles. For one, he struggles with military leadership. He struggles with his generals. His best generals, the ones who should have been getting promotions, for some reason, maybe personal, he demoted them. He lowered their rank. And those generals who really weren't that good were getting promotions. Jefferson Davis makes the mistake of not declaring martial law. And he's probably the one who would have benefited it more because there was more division in the South. By not declaring martial law, by not saying the army is in charge and the army can do whatever it needs to do to win the war, he's not able to fix the economic problems in the South. Had he declared martial law, he could have ordered people to grow corn and wheat and barley. But instead, he didn't, and they continued to grow things like cotton. Also, he's opposed by all the states' governors. Remember, they're a government founded on states' rights. They are a confederacy. They believe that the central government is equal to, not greater than, the state governments. So Jefferson Davis really struggles butting heads with the governors of the southern states. Here's a quick summary of the early military campaign. This will be an optional reading later. But these are some of the main points that we would want to take out of pages 432 to 436.